We're going old school with this video, guys. I just want to throw some darts and talk about how my darts were in 2023. This video is about a month overdue, but I just want to hop on here and talk about how my darts were in 2023. I did throw some of the worst darts of my darts career, but at the same time, I managed to get two of what I consider of the biggest wins of my darts career. So I just want to hop on here and talk about my 2023 and where my darts are at right now. So that's about it, guys. If you're new, please make sure to drop this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of new subscribers. I've jumped up over 1,000 the last month or so. So all of the new subscribers, welcome to Bullshot Darts. Thank you so much for subscribing. And yeah, so let's talk about this 2023, guys. So like I said, I did throw some of the worst darts of my darts career, but I don't want to quite focus on the bad yet. My darts right now are struggling a little bit, kind of reminding me of the beginning of 2023. But at the same time, I do feel myself getting my darts back. And I will touch on that in a little bit here. But let's talk about some positives from 2023. And the first is what I consider to be my biggest win of my darts career. And that was winning the Buckeye Open 501 singles. The reason I would consider this my biggest event win of my darts career is because it was a singles event of 501 and there was 212 entries, I believe. So I don't think I've ever been in a tournament where there's been that many entries, let alone, make it to the finals and end up winning. But I did manage to do that. And that was at a time where I felt my darts coming back. So I was really excited to be at that tournament, throwing darts. I was excited to feel good and get that win. And in the finals, I actually did get two 180s, which were I think those were my only 180s of the whole event. So that was one thing I was happy about, is that I was able to bring out some of my best darts in the finals. It was all best of three, which I'm not the biggest fan of best of three events, but at the end of the day, when you got tournaments like that, it's usually all just best of three. So it is what it is, and I lost the first leg of that finals, and then I was able to get my two 180s in the next two legs where I won back-to-back legs to get the win. So I was really happy about that, and like I said, I do consider that probably my biggest win of my darts career. So it's funny because I've had some of the worst darts of my life in the year, but I was able to end it on a high note with, what I consider my biggest win of my darts career. So another huge win was the triples event at the Bullshooter. Me, Trevor, and Tammy threw together for that. And that was just a crazy night and just a crazy weekend of darts. That event, I think we were there till about 2 in the morning. And I remember sitting down while we were waiting for the other semifinals match to go. And I was exhausted. I was just so tired. It was so late. And my partner, Trevor, came up to me and was like, dude, you got to get up. You got to throw some darts because we're about to be playing in the finals in about 10 or 15 minutes. So get up and throw some darts. And I'm so happy that he did that because I wasn't feeling, like I said, I didn't have too much energy. So I was able to get warmed up for that match. And in the match, my very first throw, I threw, I think, like a 119. And then every single throw that I had after that were all hat tricks on the bullseyes. So if you're not familiar with the Bullshooter, it's a soft tip event. So in the 01 matches, you generally are throwing at that bullseye the whole time because the 25 and the bullseye is worth 50. So my first throw, I got a low ton, but every single throw after that, I got a hat trick, a 150. I didn't have to take a look at any outs, or I didn't have to go away from the bullseye at all. So I was able to just get all the hat tricks, and we ended up winning that. And that was one of my biggest darts paydays. And also, once again, the size of the tournament and all that stuff, I consider that one of my biggest wins of my darts career. So also a big shout out to Trevor and Tammy, because we've shot trips, I think, once or twice before, and we all just get together so good. We won the Shark Tank trips back in 2021, and then we had a blast shooting that. Or no, 2022 we won that. 2023 is when we did the Bullshooter. So anytime I get the opportunity to throw with them in a trips event, I'm always excited for. So let's see, another positive of last year one of the craziest things I have ever experienced in darts. To make a very long story short, now if you're interested in hearing a more in detail version of this story, go check out my video. I think I titled it, I shot darts in the grand ballroom or something like that. I'll link it down in the description if you want to hear more about it. But long story short, there's this company that people hire to basically throw parties, and they wanted to do a dive bar. Well, I shouldn't say dive bar, but a bar type theme party. And they had darts, foosball, pool, and a few other things. And they hired people within all those sports to come in and help facilitate that at the event. So once again, if you want to hear the full story and how crazy this was, long story short, the grand ballroom of the Chicago Hilton, which is one of the most prestigious hotels, they rented that out through this big party with thousands of people 2 times last year. And I was in the party showing people darts, playing darts with people, and all this stuff. It was, I can't even explain it. It was just one of the craziest things I'd ever experienced in my life, and hands down the craziest thing I'd experienced anything related to darts. So that was a big highlight of not only just the year, but my life. I'll never forget that. And on top of that, that between the 2 days was my biggest payday I had ever had in darts. So that's always nice too. And it was just absolutely crazy. So if you want to hear the full story on that, make sure you go check out my video. I'll link it down in the description below. And the last positive thing of last year that I want to talk about here was the Chicago Southside City Cup. I had won the MVP of that tournament in 2021, 2022. So going into this year, I was really excited to hopefully go for 3 in a row. And I managed to do so. So actually, let's look back at my little trophies back here. So this is the trophy I got for the triples bull shooter. And this right here is the MVP from the Southside City Cup that I got in 2023. Now, am I happy I won that MVP? Yes, because it made it 3 in a row. And with my dart struggles last year, I was happy to throw good enough darts to win the MVP. But at the same time, it was the smallest turnout that I had seen at a weekend tournament. So back in 2021, all of the top shots from Chicago, I feel like, were there. It was shoulder to shoulder. It was hard to move. It was crazy. It was a blast. So when I won that MVP, I was super stoked because it's like, whoa, I won MVP and all these great dart players were here. And this last year, now don't get me wrong, there were some great dart players there, but not nearly as many. So yes, I'm happy I got that win, but at the same time, with not that many people there, you know, it just doesn't quite mean as much as the previous ones. Now that's no disrespect to the players that were there, because like I said, some of the top shots of Chicago were there. But when you only have to win 2 or 3 or 4 matches to make it to the finals, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like that you worked, you know, too hard for it. But I was still excited to get that 3-time MVP. And of course, this year, 2024, I'll be going for 4 in a row, assuming that they still have the tournament. I mean, the way the turnout was last year, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to not do it, but I don't know what the plan is. I hope they do it because I would like to go for 4 in a row. And hopefully some more people show up and we get it back to what it used to be. Because like I said, the tournament was really big back in 2021. And then 2022, it got smaller. And then this last year, 2023, it was tiny. So those are some of my biggest highlights of the year. Now, granted, I did have a few other wins in there, but those were my big highlights of the year. So I just want to talk about kind of why my darts were bad and kind of where I'm at right now. And that is, well, just not feeling that great. And I blame myself because if I'm going to be honest and not beat around the bush here, I've just lost a lot of focus on my darts the last year or so. I've had some few changes in my life. And, you know, I used to get home from work, throw darts almost every single day. You know, I would go to bed thinking about darts. I would wake up thinking about darts. And I had so much motivation to be better and just throw good darts and stuff. But some things have changed in my life. And it's not that I don't want those things or stop thinking about those things. but it's not just as big as a factor in my life that it used to be. I'm slowly bringing that back, because a lot of times I'll sit down and think about it. It's like, what changed that this happened? It's like, I'm still super passionate about darts. I still want to, attempt to be the best. I probably never will, but, you got to have a positive mindset. And I try, and I think that at all times. So like, what changed? So I've been making some changes and adjustments to try to get better. One of the biggest things is, like I said, I've kind of lost focus. And not only just focus in darts, but I lose focus during my practice, during my tournaments. So one thing I've really been focusing on is really improving my focus during my practice sessions, because once one of these big changes happened, I found myself doing a lot of practicing without focusing. I was just doing a lot of standing at the board throwing, which is terrible for your darts. And as you can see, my darts right here, we got a nice 26 here. Not going that well right now. But my focus in my darts was just basically non-existent during my practice. Not that I was throwing bad necessarily, but once I got into a competitive environment, I could not focus in the tournament. And, you're a product of what you practice. If you practice a lot of scoring, well, you're probably going to score really well in your tournaments. Let's get a 180 here. Speaking of scoring. Nope. Only a 140. Weak. And I was not focusing during my practice. So I had a very hard time focusing in the tournament. So that's one thing I've noticed before. So to kind of give an example here. So when I was doing a lot of my practicing, it's just like, all right, I'm at the line, set up, and let's throw some darts. So now I'll sit here, throw my 3. Well, I got a triple there, so. Hey, 2 triples. Look at that. Hey, 4 triples my last 6 darts. But I didn't really focus there. So what I've been doing lately is that when I set up, I look at my target, I focus on it before I even get in my stance. So I'll get in my stance, I'll look at my target and focus on it. Now from here is where I'll get in my throwing stance. So now my stance is set up based on the target that I'm focusing on. I don't know if that makes any sense, but as opposed to just coming up here, getting set up and throwing, I'm focusing on my target and I'm basing my throwing stance on my target that I'm focusing on. So all of my body is focused on that target, and then this is how I've been practicing lately. No, I'm just kind of winging these darts. I'm not quite taking my time, but the main point was how I set up to throw. So that's what's been my big focus lately, and I have been feeling the darts get better. I did have a couple big tournaments the last couple weeks, and I just did not show up at all. I had a 501 match where I threw a 59 in the Dart Players Chicago Finals, which was a couple weeks ago. I think I threw like a 66 for the whole tournament, which is just unacceptable. So that's basically it, guys. 2023, although I had some of the worst darts in my life, at the same time, I also had some of the biggest wins of my darts career. So a little bit both ways, but at the end of the day, I need to focus on the future. And right now, my darts are feeling good. I have some really, well, not big tournaments, but tournaments that I view as big because I get really excited to go to them. So I'm focused on those. I'm doing a lot of focusing in my practice and all this stuff. So hopefully I can turn 2024 into a better year than 2023. So that's it, guys. A little old school video here, just throwing darts and talking. All the new subscribers, thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button, guys. Drop this video a thumbs up. Check out bullshotdarts.com if you're interested in getting some Bullshot apparel or the Bullshot Darts jersey. Some videos should have popped up this way, somewhere. It's been a while since I recorded a video like this, so I don't know where they're popping up. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck and shoot well.